My mom refuses to come to my wedding if I don't invite my sister. What would you do? Buckle up, it's going to be a long one, and I'll start from the very beginning so everything is clear. I used ChatGPT to make sure my grammar is on point, by the way. I, 28F, am the oldest of four, three sisters and our youngest sibling, a brother. The second child, let's call her Pickle, is 2 years younger than me. The next sister, let's call her Cupcake, is 5 years younger, and our brother is 11 years younger. I won't mention my brother much since our relationship is great. Same goes for Cupcake, we've never had any issues, even in childhood. Just pure love and friendship. Now let's go back to where it all started. You won't believe it, but it began when Pickle was born. I don't remember any of this, but my parents swear I was jealous of her as a toddler. They always reminded us of the things I supposedly did to get her into trouble. Fast forward to me learning about childhood psychology in university and realizing how normal it is for a firstborn to feel displaced or jealous when a sibling arrives. What my parents should have done was help me bond with her, get me excited, involve me in caring for her, not just show up one day with another baby and start focusing all attention on her. And even if they didn't prepare me properly, they could have at least stopped bringing it up for the rest of our lives. Pickle still holds on to this story like it defines our entire relationship, insisting that I've hated her since day one and that I am the problem. Come on, I was literally 2. I don't remember a thing from that age. We never got along. Ever. We fought constantly, verbally and physically, throughout our entire childhood. My parents didn't really try to help fix it. Maybe they thought we'd grow out of it. We're also completely different personalities. We had to share a room until I was about 10. She was messy, I was neat. She broke her toys and mine. I've always cherished my possessions. It really hurt to see her destroy the things I valued. But we had to share, and I didn't get a say. My mom was the main parent since my dad worked as a truck driver and was gone most of the time. I became the second parent very young. I had to clean, help my mom, and look after my younger siblings. Pickle wasn't good at chores, so naturally, it was easier for my mom to make me do everything rather than teach her. By middle school, Pickle already had issues with everyone. No friends, constant drama, always claiming people were out to get her. And somehow, even when I wasn't involved, it was my fault. Even though we went to the same school building, our classrooms were on opposite sides, and we had no overlap. I didn't talk to her or influence her school life in any way. Things were bad enough that my parents sent her to high school in my mom's hometown, an hour away, to live with my grandparents. She spent 4 years there and still came out of high school without a single close friend. Meanwhile, when I was 15, both of my parents moved to Germany for work, leaving us with our other grandparents. It was rough. I had a lot of responsibilities and an undiagnosed eating disorder. I need to mention that my parents and sister would visit for religious holidays. We're Catholic in a majority Muslim country. I had a good friend group and a secret boyfriend who was Muslim. This was considered extremely dangerous and shameful, especially for girls. Girls were often beaten if caught in such relationships. But I was careful and managed to hide it well, even in our small town. Until my mom made me take Pickle out with me one New Year's Eve because she has no friends. I was 17, she was 15. Not unusual for teenagers to go out at that age where I'm from. Pickle found out about my boyfriend but kept it to herself, for a while. This was our one and only sisterly bond moment. I truly thought I could trust her. At 20, I was living and studying in another city, supported by my parents. University isn't that expensive in our country, especially with support from someone earning abroad. Pickle was supposed to join me but didn't get her ID done in time. Despite my constant reminders, she didn't take it seriously. My dad got fed up and moved her to Germany instead. Eventually, she completed an apprenticeship and now has a stable job, but we're not there yet. My other siblings moved too, sometime around 2017. Pickle, as usual, argued with everyone and constantly tried to prove a point. In 2019, during a fight with my mom and aunt about mixed marriages, she brought up how my parents allowed me to date a Muslim back then. My mom had no idea. She froze. Then she called me, threatened me, and I had to cut the conversation. I managed to lie my way out of it thanks to the distance. But you don't understand how dangerous that was for me. I could have been cut off, left homeless, or worse. Pickle exposed me just to feel morally superior or whatever her motive was. That betrayal was it for me. I texted her to never speak to me again, and I meant it. I've kept that promise ever since. I got my master's in 2020 and moved to Germany. For the first year, I lived with my family. I worked full-time, cooked, cleaned, did their laundry, but I never broke my vow. I didn't speak to her or look at her, even when she tried to talk to me. She never apologized, but at some point, she exploded and accused me of being a bad sister from day one. She said she thought I'd talk to her again just because we were living under the same roof. But acknowledging her would have hurt me more than ignoring her ever hurt her. In 2021, I moved out and haven't seen much of her since. She moved out too, thankfully, so I don't run into her during visits. Now about my mom. She's 51, from a big family that acts like a wolf pack, always there for each other, at least on the surface. But that's not the point. My parents are not emotionally stable. They went through war as teenagers, which explains some of their parenting issues but not all. My mom stonewalls everyone whenever something doesn't go her way. And things never do, because she's never satisfied. I resent both my parents, but especially her. She was always around and failed me more times than I can count. My mom wants all of us to love each other, but we can't. We all have problems with Pickle. None of us like her, but my other two siblings tolerate her. She verbally terrorizes my little brother whenever she gets the chance. She's truly miserable and has become despicable. Now I'm engaged, and the first thing my mom said was that I had to invite Pickle. I hadn't even thought about her. That's how far removed she is from my life. When I said I wouldn't invite her, my mom said she wouldn't come either. This wouldn't be the first time. She skipped lunch at my place twice in the past because Pickle wasn't invited. Eventually, she started coming even when Pickle wasn't there. But for the wedding, she's drawing a hard line. She keeps insisting she'll change my mind. She won't. She says Pickle was a kid when she exposed me. I told her she was 20, an adult, who knew exactly what would happen to me. I honestly think she did it out of jealousy. I was in university, living independently, while she was stuck taking language classes and working part-time. She needed to pull me down to feel better about her own life. I've found peace since cutting Pickle out. I refuse to introduce that drama into my life again. You have no idea how many emotional outbursts I've had to endure while all I wanted was to be left alone. I don't trust her not to cause drama, even if she just sat in a corner. I don't want to spend my wedding day stressed and anxious. I just want to relax and enjoy it. This situation has made me seriously consider cutting my mom off too. No one else in the family brings it up or pressures me, just her. If I disinvite my mom, I risk her dragging the rest of the family into it and my mom giving them a hard time about going. I'm stuck. But one thing I know for sure, I will not invite Pickle just to keep the peace. What would you do? Relevant comments. Commenter 1. In 2019, during a fight with my mom and aunt about mixed marriages, she brought up how my parents allowed me to date a Muslim back then. My mom had no idea. She froze. Then she called me, threatened me, and I had to cut the conversation. I managed to lie my way out of it thanks to the distance. But you don't understand how dangerous that was for me. I could have been cut off, left homeless, or worse. Your mother was the danger and the problem here, much more than Pickle. Why was she invited to begin with? OOP, she had no one to go with, ever. So I often had to bring her along because she was sad and lonely. My mom always assumed sisters means best friends and that my sister is always a better person to have around than anyone else. Commenter 2, don't forget to hire security to keep Pickle from the wedding venue and ceremony. Someone like this is absolutely capable of doing some serious damage during your beautiful wedding that you should enjoy with your partner. OOP, luckily, I don't think she'd go all the way back to Bosnia just to show up unannounced. But I still need to make it clear that if she does, I'll absolutely embarrass her. I'm not going to tell her directly, because I refuse to speak to her, But I want my mom to understand that if she brings her, I will get on the mic, say something publicly, and kick them both out. I told my fiancé and his whole family about the situation a long time ago, maybe 1 year into our relationship. My other sister said that Pickles told her that there's no way my fiancé, who was just my boyfriend at the time, would have known anything of me not speaking to her because I'd never admit to being that kind of person or whatever. But still, I told my other sister she should let her know that everyone already knows, and I'm not ashamed of anything. Commenter 3. I'm asking why your mom was invited to the wedding. I don't even know. I haven't even sent the invitations out yet. She just said all that stuff as soon as I announced my engagement. I would invite her, though. I just won't engage with her much. But my sister? No way. Commenter 3. I guess I'm having trouble understanding why your sister revealing something about you to your mother is so much worse than the fact that by your admission, your mother is racist and was a source of danger for you. She also is the one who created the dynamic between you and your sister. Nothing your sister has done is as bad as what your mom did. Like, what's the conflict there? Don't invite either of them. To understand my parents' view on dating a Muslim, you would need know or do research about the history and all the bloodshed in my country over centuries, but also the war they lived through. It's not really racism. They are afraid based on their experiences. I was born after all that and I have no negative feelings like that. I have no prejudice to any religion, but it's hard to explain that to older generations. It will be a while until there's peace and true acceptance in that region NGL. There might even be a new war soon and I'm so glad I'm not there anymore. Commenter 4. Honestly I've heard of sisters doing much worse. Like sleeping with their sister's husband and then contesting the will of their deceased parents to drag through court and use up most of the inheritance on lawyer fees out of pure pettiness and jealousy worse. I kept waiting for the shit to hit the fan in this story and it never did. A 20-year-old is a child in my eyes. Especially with how immature and socially awkward your sister is. I'd personally forgive her and try again to be friends as adults. She's probably grown up significantly in about a decade. It's pretty crazy work living together and never looking at her once. Sounds like you learned that stonewalling from Ma. Do you really want to be like her in that regard? If you were legitimately about to be an honor killing, I'd never speak to her either. But if it was the threat of racist religious parents cutting you off, sorry but that's livable. I once brought home a brown boyfriend my sophomore year of college and my WASP parents, who I knew were racist but not that racist, financially cut me off. It was hard working at a few bars to support myself between classes, but not the end of the world. That reaction is also more on your parents than her. Clearly she was jealous and most 20-year-olds aren't matured adults. Ultimately it's your day and your decision who you let in your life. Sounds like you already made it and are looking for vindication. I'm glad all these other commenters can give it to you, but eldest daughter to eldest daughter, you know you're better than this. Why do I have to be better than this? I don't want to make myself feel bad just to make others feel good. I don't want to be friends with her because I know she has not changed. As I mentioned in the post, she is still starting drama with my other siblings all the time. An example, when she goes to visit them, she goes straight to my brother's room where he's gaming with his friends and starts harassing him, telling him he will be a failure and that he will never succeed if he doesn't stop playing games and focus mainly on studying. His grades are fine. She just wants to harass someone. She gets my mother involved and says that she needs bonding time with her brother and sister and that my mother needs to force him out of the room to come out and play board games and do whatever she feels like. Additional information from OOP after reading the comments. OOP, safe to say I'm not the problem, since all the comments so far are backing me up. I also thought of something kind of funny that you might find entertaining. When we were teenagers, my sister used to threaten suicide with a butter knife whenever we argued. It was so over the top that I couldn't help but laugh, which obviously made her even more upset, and then the whole cycle would start again. Update, May 4, 2025, 2 days later. Small update. This has been weighing heavily on my mind lately. I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I finally texted my dad. I asked him directly if he would come to the wedding even if my mother chooses not to. He called me and started going on about how marriage is a sacred sacrament and how he hopes that by next year, I'll come to my senses and forgive my sister. The moment he said that, all your comments and advice came flooding back. I stopped him and said something along the lines of, "Please stop. I need to say this again, even though I've said it countless times, I will never forgive her. I don't think about her, I don't miss her, and I don't wonder how she's doing. Since cutting her off, I've found peace. No sudden drama, no emotional chaos, just peace. I won't give that up. And don't start with the sacrament talk. Forgiveness is something between me and my priest during confession. That's not your place to comment on. I'm simply asking, will you be there for me on my wedding day? There will be a seat for both you and Mom, but if you choose not to come, that's okay. If people ask me where Pickles is, I'll answer truthfully and without hesitation. I'm not ashamed of my decision, even though everyone assumes I am. And if you don't come and people ask why, I'll be honest about that too. I will not carry guilt over this." He just sat there, frozen. I told him I had to finish drying my hair and hung up. That was over an hour ago, and I haven't heard anything since. I was shaking as I said it, but I don't think he could tell. I didn't cry or even get teary-eyed. It was incredibly hard to stand up to my father, probably the first time I've ever truly done it. I'm pretty sure my mom was there too, but she didn't say a word. Honestly, that might be for the best. Her opinion is the last thing I need right now. If they choose not to come, my best friend's big brother, who's been like a brother to me for years, will walk me down the aisle. He's shown me more kindness and respect than any blood relative ever has. I won't be heartbroken if my family doesn't attend. What really hurts is having to deal with this situation in the first place. I wish it weren't even a topic. We'll see what happens a year from now when the wedding comes. But one thing is certain, Pickles is not invited. That's a firm boundary I will not budge on. Honestly, I'm just surprised my dad took my mom's side. I didn't see that coming. TLDR, I confronted my dad about whether he'll attend my wedding even if my mom doesn't. He tried to guilt me into forgiving my sister, but I stood my ground and made it clear that I've found peace without her. I told him the decision to come is his, but I won't be ashamed or silent about my choices. If my parents don't show, my best friend's brother, who's like family to me, will walk me down the aisle. It was hard, but I finally stood up for myself. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. What on earth is wrong with Pickles? How can she go through school with 0 friends and your parents not getting her any intervention? OOP. It's a cultural thing to dismiss mental health issues in the region. It's not taken seriously. I remember so many times when we argued, she'd go into the kitchen, pull out butter knives from the drawer, and act like she was going to cut herself, sobbing the whole time. I couldn't even take it seriously. I actually laughed at her, which of course made things worse. I know that wasn't the right reaction, but I genuinely didn't know how else to respond. I was probably in my early teens then, and she's 2 years younger, so yeah, we were both just kids. Another memory is from her final year of middle school. Every class does a big trip at the end of the year, and when her class went away for a few days, something happened. She apparently caused some kind of drama, no one really knows the details, but I heard she was threatening to jump off the balcony. It became a big deal at the hotel. Everyone was concerned, the teacher was completely overwhelmed, and they did inform my parents, but my parents never even talked to us about it. If her classmate hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known it happened. There's clearly something going on with her. In high school, I even heard she went to the police claiming someone at school was bullying her. I don't know the full story. Families don't talk openly about these things, and people keep it hidden. I honestly don't even remember who told me. It might have been one of our relatives. But yeah, it's clear she's struggling with something. Still, I don't think it's up to me to fix her or be her therapist. That was my parents' responsibility when she was younger, and now it feels like it's just too late. Commenter 2. I don't know you, but I am so very proud of you for standing up for yourself. Also, I noticed that you said you currently live in Germany. As I do too, Catholic weddings, at least in the South where I live, don't have the American walking down the aisle where the groom awaits the bride being given to him. They usually have the couple walk in together to symbolize the new way they will be starting with this ceremony. I don't know how far you are in your preparations, but maybe this could either be a nice alternative to not need your father, or you at least know what a priest might bring up during your consultation. Best of luck. I hope you have a great wedding day. OOP, thank you for your kind words. I live in Germany, and my fiancé is German, but the wedding will take place in my hometown church in Bosnia, as that's the tradition in my culture. There, the groom waits inside while the bride is brought in by her father. I'm not too upset about it, though. My best friend's older brother will be walking me down the aisle, and I know he'll do a wonderful job. Sometimes, the family we choose can be even more meaningful than the one we're born into. OOP should consider about going NC with her parents. OOP, I've decided not to visit them or invite them over. From now on, any communication will have to come from their side. I will send them the wedding invitation once it's printed, simply so they can't say they weren't officially invited, but I won't engage in conversation with them. If they reach out about this topic, I'll shut it down immediately. OOP explains the culture traditions to marry in her hometown. Was that something she wanted to do to get married? OOP, it's something that I was looking forward to since like forever ago. Even if the groom is from a different town in my country, the tradition is for him and all of his guests to come to the bride's city for the church wedding. We will have the city hall wedding here in Germany and a small lunch with the closest family members afterwards, his family, my 2 nice siblings and my chosen family. Is any of OOP's siblings planning to come to the wedding, or has her mother threatened them? OOP, my sister says she's coming and that she will bring my brother with her. But that is still unknown, as he will still be underage at the time of the wedding. So it could be that my parents prevent him from going, which I wouldn't put past them.